The early years of Naruto Uzumaki's life in the Hidden Leaf Village are defined by a single, crushing weight: rejection. From the moment he arrived, the village treated him not as a child, but as a terrifying, ticking clock. His rejection was not merely social. It was woven into the very fabric of the village's fear, a tapestry spun from superstition, prejudice, and deep-seated terror. The most immediate and profound source of this hatred, of this palpable disdain, was the nine-tailed fox, the QB. Inside him resided a monster, a creature of overwhelming power and catastrophic destruction. For the villagers, he wasn't Naruto Uzumaki, the boy who dreamed of being Hokage. He was merely the prison for that beast. They saw a threat, not a person. And in the absence of true understanding, fear always curdles into hatred. This fear manifested in subtle yet suffocating ways. It started with the whispers that followed him through the bustling marketplace, whispers that spoke of bloodlines, of curses, and of uncontainable power. These whispers weren't just gossip. They were warnings, spoken by adults who believed that association with him would somehow compromise their own safety, their own peace. His vibrant, determined energy was consistently viewed through the distorted lens of villainy. Every laugh was questioned, every outburst seen as barely controlled primal rage. It was a constant, low-frequency drone of condemnation that never seemed to cease. Then there was the blatant cruelty, the taunts, the avoidance, the outright harassment. Children, who should have been his first allies, often turned on him, their playfulness tainted by a deep-seated fear that echoed the village elders. They mocked his appearance, his loud enthusiasm, and his simple desire for connection. He learned early that effort alone, was not enough to earn acceptance. He could perform feats of chakra, he could prove his strength, but the emotional chasm between him and the community remained stubbornly wide. The village was physically near him, but spiritually, they kept him at arm's length. This constant state of alienation took a grueling toll on his spirit. Naruto internalized this rejection. He spent years cultivating an impenetrable shell around his heart, building a formidable wall of desperate bravado just to keep the profound ache of loneliness from overwhelming him. He craved recognition with a burning intensity, not just the title of Hokage, but the simple, fundamental acknowledgement of his worth as a human being. He yearned for a single person to look at him and see Naruto, not the vessel for the Nine Tails. It was a heartbreaking performance, maintaining that facade of sunshine while internally drowning in isolation. He felt the weight of their judgment every time he walked through the gates, the sting of their averted gazes serving as constant reminders of his outsider status. The hatred wasn't always active malice. Sometimes, it was the quieter, more insidious wound of indifference, the cold shoulder that spoke volumes about how much they didn't care. Yet, in this hostile environment, a resilient spark refused to be extinguished. His determination to prove his worth became the defining trait of his youth. He wasn't fighting just to survive. He was fighting for a right to belong, a right granted by nothing more than sheer stubbornness and an unbreakable bond with the very few who dared to look past the fox. His journey wasn't just about gaining power. It was a protracted, painful education in enduring prejudice, and ultimately mastering the art of true understanding, a process that would eventually force the entire village to face its own internal shortcomings and its collective fear.